Hello and welcome to your daily English listening practice. I'm Ben, and today I'm going to be reading for you the first chapter of the fifth story from Olly Richards' book, Short Stories in English. I just want to say thank you very much to all the new subscribers who have been joining the channel. I really appreciate your support and your feedback. I hope you enjoy the video. The Chest. Chapter 1. Edinburgh. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived in Scotland. The man was quite old. His name was Walter. Walter had never married. He had no children or family nearby. He had lived for many years alone, but he was very kind. He always treated everyone nicely. Walter had never travelled far. He had travelled around his home in Scotland, but he had not gone farther. Now it was time to act. He had a mission. Walter didn't have a lot of funds, but he was not poor. He had saved some money in his younger years. He planned to use that money for his mission. He must go to 3 separate places. He needed money for food, hotels, and travel. He had a mission, and he must complete it. First, Walter travelled to Edinburgh. A lot of people watched him as he passed by. He hadn't cut his hair in a long time. He had a long beard. His clothes were very strange as well. He looked a bit different on the streets of the big city. Walter arrived at the meadows. It was a very large park in Edinburgh. It was full of people. Walter approached a young man. The man was about 25 years old. He was reading a local newspaper. He was sitting against a tree. He looked very calm. Walter sat down next to the man. "Good afternoon," Walter said. "Hello," answered the man. He looked at Walter suspiciously. Then he carried on reading. "How are you, David?" Walter said. The man looked up. He was very surprised. How did this strange person know his name? He looked at the old man carefully. "Did you say David?" he asked. "Yes, I did." "How do you know my name?" "I can't tell you that." David stopped reading the newspaper. He looked at Walter, this time even more carefully. He looked at the long beard. He tried to imagine him with no beard. Nothing. He had no idea who the old man was. "What do you want?" asked David. By now he was very suspicious. "Don't worry," said Walter. "I haven't come to harm you. I'm here to tell you about something." "Go ahead," replied the man. "Tell me." Walter pulled a picture out of his pocket. In the picture there was a chest. It looked very old. It also looked like it might have something inside it, something of value. "What's that?" David asked. "Don't you know what it is?" It looks like a chest. I've never seen it in my life." Walter looked at David closely. Then he pointed to the picture. "Look at this." David looked. The chest had a lock. The lock had 3 zeros on it. "It's a lock." "Yes, and," Walter continued, "the numbers are missing." David questioned. "That's it," said Walter. "All 3 numbers are missing." Then he looked at David closely. "I need those 3 numbers for my mission," Walter said. "Mission? What mission?" "I can't tell you that," the old man replied calmly. David didn't understand. He had no idea what the man wanted. How could he give the man numbers he didn't know? Finally, Walter said, "I'm sure you've got one of those numbers." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Think about it, David. You must have an old object. An object with a number on it." David thought carefully. He had no such object. He was sure of it. Then he remembered something. He did have one thing with a number. Maybe that was it? "Now that you mention it," he said excitedly, "I may have something. Wait here. I'll go and get it." "Where are you going?" asked Walter. "To my house. I need to get something." "Wait. I'll come with you." David looked at the man suspiciously once again. The man was old. He seemed nice. He guessed it would not be a problem. "Okay," he said. "Follow me." David and Walter left the park. They went back along a small street. Then they took a bus to David's house. It was in a different part of town. While they traveled, David asked Walter, "What's your name?" "My name is Walter, Walter Davies." "And how long have you been in Edinburgh, Mr. Davies?" "Oh, please call me Walter. No need to be so polite." "Okay, Walter. How long have you been in Edinburgh?" "I've been here 2 hours." "Oh, really? That's not long." "Yes, but I like it. There are a lot of nice people and interesting sights here." "Yes, there are." The two men continued talking. Soon they reached David's house. The house was small and neat. David took Walter to the garage. David kept many things from his past there. He had things from when he was a boy. He had some old photos. He even had some old school notes. "What are we looking for here?" asked Walter. "I remembered something I have. It sounds like the object you are looking for." "An old object? With a number?" "Yes, an old object with a number. Please, wait a minute. I'm going to look." For half an hour, David searched. Walter tried to help. David asked Walter to sit down. He wanted to find it himself. After an hour, David finally found the object. "Look, Walter," he said with excitement. "I found it." "What have you found?" Walter asked. He got up and walked over. He looked at David carefully. "How do you know it's what I need?" "I don't know. But I've had this for a long time, and it has a number." David unwrapped an old cloth. Inside was a gold necklace. And inside the necklace there was a number. "When you said you needed something with a number," David began, "I remembered this." "Do you remember who gave you that necklace?" asked Walter. "I'm not sure. I've had it since I was a baby." Walter smiled. He opened the garage door. "Where are you going?" David asked. "I'm finished here," replied Walter. "Remember that number and read this." He handed David a letter. Then he walked away. "Wait! Come back!" "Don't you want the necklace?" called David. But Walter was gone. He had disappeared through the doorway. Walter returned to central Edinburgh. He caught the train to the airport. His next stop was Northern Ireland. Now on to the summary of the chapter. Walter is an old man from Scotland. He is in Edinburgh on a mission. He has a picture of an old chest. There is a lock in a chest. 3 numbers are missing from it. Walter asks a man named David about the missing numbers. He says 1 number is on an object David has. David looks in his garage and finds something. He shows Walter an old necklace. There is a number in it. Walter tells David to remember the number inside the necklace. He gives David a letter. Then Walter leaves for Northern Ireland. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Please stay tuned for the next chapter, which will come out fairly soon, I promise. Now that we have more support in the channel, it's giving me some inspiration and motivation to do more. Since I have some free time right now, I'm planning on making 2 videos per week. I will release one on a Wednesday and another on Saturday. I would appreciate your feedback. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day.